What's up? It's Lip Service. I'm Angela Yee.
I'm Gigi Maguire.
I'm Laura Mora.
I'm Jordan Emanuel.
And I'm Lynn Whitfield.
Okay, sorry, I had to let that out.
That part. Excuse me,
This is not a test.
Lynn Whitfield.
This is not a game.
It's on the couch with us, y'all.
That
Yes. Well, first of all, Lynn Whitfield, thank you so much for joining. Honestly, this is very iconic for us to have you here. So we're going to be respectful, but we still going to get all in your business.
I know. I don't trust this thing. I'm very respectful. I don't trust it. We're going to see.
She said, I know where I'm at.
But I know you can handle it, you know, just from watching you on the screen. One thing that we want to start with, and this is a little icebreaker for us, right? Just for us to tell a little bit about ourselves, is a time that we have brandied, okay? And so a situation in our life, just like Brandy from a Thin Line, where we've been brandying. Ooh, now Jordan, I know.
I can't go first.
Okay.
No, I gotta think about this.
What about you, Gigi? What's some crazy?
The first thing that comes to mind is when I knocked the hookah over on the table and the coals went flying onto people. It was after one of your parties.
Oh,
Oh.
I feel like Brandy.
Somebody like really upset you?
Yeah.
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 Ask her about it.
You did it.
I knocked it, and I intentionally knocked over the hookah.
You intentionally did it.
I pushed it over, and it was like a long table full of people, and the hookah was at the end, and I like pushed it down the table like bowling, like a bowling ball, just knocking everything over.
And that could have set a fire.
It could have hurt people. It was very bad.
So if you had it to do over again, would you do it again?
I would not do it again.
You would not do it again?
No, there are people that
Did y'all
literally hate,
hear that? She would not do it again.
there are literally people that hate my stinking guts because I did that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, somebody got burnt, and she hates me forever.
Oh.
I'm sorry,
la, la.
girl.
You burned somebody?
Somebody got burned.
I didn't know that part.
Oh.
We're finding out new things.
That was, yes. Oh,
Yeah.
right. Okay.
Okay, Laura, a time you've brandied.
I keep the Escalade.
Come on, Escalade.
Wait, what? You stole an Escalade?
Keyed it.
Oh,
I
keyed
did.
it. Oh, you said kept it. Okay.
Because
You
he
mean
wanted
that,
it.
you,
Yep, right at the gambling spot he was at with the other girl.
whoa.
Keying up a car is, because some people may make you pay for that.
Oh, he knew not to.
Okay.
Like keyed. I ain't
We
gonna
all
lie,
the same
I
way.
ran after him.
And he knew it was you.
He knew it was me.
Okay. And what did he say after that?
Why would you do that? I told you I wasn't with nobody else. I was like, yeah, whatever. Just go get it fixed.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, he deserved it.
All right.
See,
Jordy, you thought.
Mine still doesn't know that this happened, but I guess it's been I guess this is, or doesn't know it was me, rather.
Listen,
So I don't know if I want to blow up my spot.
I don't think you should.
Do it.
However, there was an
Can you
egging
do a second tier
situation.
one?
The egging situation. Same
Okay.
guy.
Okay.
But there was an egging moment with all the cars. And unfortunately, my homegirl, who also had an ex at the same party, she got the blame of it.
Oh.
Yeah. But they knew I was there. So, I claimed my business, but yeah. Yeah. But the other one is a secret.
All right, Angela.
Right, what you gonna do, girl?
Let me see. What did I do? I've done like little things. One time, I'm definitely the type of person, I found out my boyfriend was cheating on me, and the girl he was cheating with was engaged to somebody, and I sent all the
proof to her.
proof
fiancé?
to the fiance
I remember that, yeah.
via Facebook.
did?
I sure did.
That's just journalism.
yeah, that's journalism.
doesn't
Did they still get married? It is.
They did.
reportage.
They actually did end up still getting married, but I'm sure he probably felt away still.
Yes.
What about you in real life?
Oh, no. Well, see, that's the great thing about being an actress.
Mm-hmm.
I can act out and not get put in jail.
But listen, that's not illegal. But is there a time you have gone crazy in a relationship? I mean, you've been in this business since a young age.
Yes.
And you've seen a lot. And
Well, here's the thing. I wouldn't say over a guy. I'm not a vindictive person. I'm just more, I used to be just more emotional. Like
Okay.
if it came up, it came out, right? And so it wasn't just with a guy.
Okay.
Usually I wouldn't make a guy feel that he was important enough for me to like act really
be like that.
Yeah.
really big. But through a lot of, kind of psychology, working through things, because all that comes from rage. Because when we do stuff like that, like it's not even that we're that mad, we're that hurt. We're that hurt, and the hurt turns to like the anger thing and rage, and then we have a tantrum, right? So I used to have tantrums. I mean, okay, I have turned over a few tables.
Come on, flip a table.
We love it, Teresa.
Well, that happens to be. Well, that happens
I like
to
the
be.
whole prologue before you admit it.
But I mean, no, but that happens to be really, easy because you don't even have to you just
It wasn't a heavy
boom,
table.
and it just. Yeah, look, I'm not gonna pull a muscle trying to get mad at somebody. You can just tip it and it's gone. So, but that was really, really a lot younger because I find that it takes more. Well, what do you all think? I feel like that kind of rage and anger takes more away from you than it gives to you.
It
Right.
does.
Yes.
I mean, it might feel good in that moment.
In that moment.
But the repercussions and consequences
Right.
never feel good.
I think that's a younger thing.
Yeah, I was
too.
21.
As you get older, you're
Yeah.
not
You
supposed
were
to, and you
21.
learn.
Yeah, I was
She
21.
was 21. Don't be scared. Anybody who has an eye on her now, she wouldn't do
She would
that.
never do
Yeah,
that.
I would never do that now. I
There's
would.
too many cameras.
I'll go
in
home
there.
and cry.
That part.
and just cry
There's
about
cameras
it.
everywhere.
What you
Right.
my phrase. No, next. Just
That part too.
walk,
Just move on.
leave.
way to
Move.
get away.
Right, like why? Why?
Yeah.
But our feelings get involved because you can't feel anger and rage without having felt some type of love, right?
Well, exactly.
So,
But that's
you felt
why
love for this
thin
person.
line between love and hate
Yes.
it's a saying from years and years and years and years and years.
song.
It's a song, and they even made a song about it because it's passion.
Yes.
So when you feel
That's the root.
passionate about someone, it can even be your best friend or a friend when
Family
you
member.
love it. That is the person who can piss you off the most.
Friend breakups are
Yes.
hard.
Yes.
Yeah.
The
Oh.
worst. The worst.
Really, really, really terrible. So it's passion,
Yeah.
So first, I think we can celebrate that we're deeply feeling people. And then I think it's like, okay, what are you really going to do with this if it's not quite how you want it to be? And how you going to manage that part?
Right.
Because it's not so much the thing, but how we manage it.
I feel like, and tell me if you think this is true, you feel like you've been destined for this life that you've had? Because even
do.
from early on, it's like your stuff hit.
I do. I just always, I think, some people are lucky enough that your purpose gets deposited in your spirit. And I just kind of always knew because I was watching those movies at home and, people were glamorous and they would make me cry. They would make me laugh. I could go through a whole range of life experience, and I just always knew that this is what I wanted to do. And I thought maybe I would have talent at it, but then I studied it, at Howard and then
Yes.
with other.
You got
but
the AKA colors on already?
I know, I do. I got
You're
the
not
green.
playing about that.
I don't have it
pearls.
pink, maybe a little bit on my lips. but it's a blessing when you kind of know what you want to do early on.
Now, this is a real uncensored, because we've seen your TV one uncensored.
Yes.
But this is a different type of uncensored.
Yes, Lynn.
How is it in relationships turning on and off, the acting? Because sometimes people think that you could be acting when you're in a relationship with them. And maybe sometimes you kind of are. Like, how does that work for you?
Yeah, no. I wish that I could act in relationships. I wish that I was that person, the contrivant, to be to act out in a relationship. You're talking about male, female?
Yeah.
I'm not good at it. If we hung out, and we've hung out a few times.
Yes,
I mean,
we have. Times in our
I
life.
kind of need the truth in my world. And I think that's the kind of acting that I do. I think it comes from an honest place. But I can't tell you the number of times back in the day and even forward now that I'll be at dinner with somebody or out with somebody and they're like, well, I know I asked you this before because, but I don't think you could act that crazy if you're not.
Really that crazy.
You did too good of a job.
You did. So people believe it. So, they believe it. But the thing is that the acting part, right? part of the work of acting, and it's not just for the, the glory and the this and the that, and there's a lot of perks that come along with it, but I take it as a responsibility, like in a service gig, because I think that you have to take seriously when you're presenting truths about people, right? Because if I'm representing, like a lot of Black women will say, you represent us so well. Well, that's that's something, we're to be taken seriously.
Absolutely.
And we are to be believed.
Yeah.
And whatever the journey is, it's my job to shed some light on it, whether it's good or bad or indifferent, but to share the truth of who we are. So I can't sell it out just to be cute and kind of be acting,
Yeah,
So
because
there's
I feel like sometimes people don't trust, like, in relationships. But I will say,
But back to that, people, a lot of time, men, but that would be an insecure man.
like, they'd be like, is she really enjoying this?
Right.
Well, that's yet again an insecure man. If you don't know, if you don't know, if you're not more in command,
She's screaming a little too loud.
If you're not more in command of yourself,
If you can't
to
figure out
know
what's really going on,
who you are and what you can do and what you're capable of and how to do what you do, then what can I do about that? I can't.
I have loved Lynn Whitfield for a long time now. Playing Josephine Baker.
Yes.
Also, my grandmother's name is Josephine.
Oh,
So I've always felt like that connection. So I love like just that name.
no.
Also, but that was amazing for you. Do you take things like that with you? Like, because that's a road you really had to get into.
Yeah.
That's not something that is like, all right, that's a real person, like that you have to study what actually happened, in their
I'll
life.
tell you what I took. One of the things I took from Josephine Baker, if you go back and look at it, there was a time when she lost everything. She lost her house, and they took her out of her house in a hair bonnet and barefoot in a quilted robe. I sat out on it. I was like, oh my God. I never want this to happen to me. I carried the fear of poverty,
Right.
of making bad mistakes. And and the funny thing is when you carry fear about something, you often draw it to you.
Right.
Yes.
Manifest
You're
it.
so right about that.
Oh, look, y'all, we got an amen going off in here. And it's not even Lady May. We just up in there talking like, you know what I mean? So I think I brought some bad financial choices to myself from the fear.
From the fear.
Okay. You know what? I'm going to say this too. For a lot of people who don't come from money, it is really a fear. Like when you start getting some, you are so scared to like make the right decisions because we're always scared that it's not going to work out or that it could go away at any moment.
Right. But it's
That's how I feel with, like with everything that I do. I'm always like, I got to prepare because just in case I lose everything, I want to make sure that I always have a place to live or like I make decisions based on that.
That's a safer route than the other route, which is this got started and it's never going to go away. Right. And so I think there's a lot of that kind of thinking too. What do you ladies think?
Yeah. I've had fear. Like, I feel like in this time right now in my life, everything is that I've ever wanted is right there. But I'm so used to being indecisive and making choices, not thinking about myself, thinking about everything else that I'm now like, oh my God, everything I want is right here.
Well, what are you
what
thinking
should
about
I
if you're not thinking about what are you thinking about?
Fear. Scared that I'm not imposter syndrome thing, that fear that I don't deserve it or I'm gonna mess it up
It's
or I don't know how to
awful.
handle it. I don't know
Like
how to.
fear is a bitch, and it is just the device of obstruction.
Yeah.
And what I don't want to scare people, but I do call it darkness. Okay, don't get scared. It's not spooky. It's just energy that is, but it's amazing what we do to ourselves.
Yeah.
Right.
Especially as women, I think.
Yes.
It's a habit of women and society kind of pushing us on to not going after what we actually want and having to stay within this box and stay within reach and not
That
going
is so
outside
cool.
of that.
I was at Jazz Fest last week, and I was walking, and there's lots of people, and you go to the stages, and Earth, Wind, and Fire was killing it. They killed Anderson .Paak killed.
Oh my gosh.
Marie killed. It was amazing. But it was so funny. Like you're walking and there's lots of people, and the number of women, black, white, pink, purple, who said, "I'm sorry." Like they walk in front of you, "I'm sorry. Excuse me, I'm sorry."
We lead by apologizing.
And I was like, what is everybody apologizing for?
That's
Shit.
Taking up space.
This is crazy.
Yes.
And I could see myself in it. And I could see other people in my family in it. I was like, why are all the women apologizing?
Right.
Yeah.
Men were just like
Men do not.
walking and
yeah.
doing, and it's like, "I'm sorry, excuse me."
That's me.
Bumping people
Where,
over.
what? Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Oh, it's so many times.
Guys be like, bro, watch out.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Or
You even
don't say
get that.
nothing
Like,
at
you
all.
even get
You
that.
know, a sense of entitlement, like I'm
Right.
supposed to be here. And so I think I'm learning still, because I'm a work in progress. Y'all may look at IMDb and say, "Oh, Lord, she must know it all." Lies. Lies. I'm such a work in progress. But I mean, the information that we feed ourselves is so key, because often we just do it to ourselves.
Well, you said that you, like, when it came to financial decisions early on, you didn't make the best ones.
No.
So tell me, like, some things that you learned along the way.
I would just put it off, right? I would put off gathering those receipts. I would put off
that's me.
put off actually finding out and actually seeking counsel. Like, is this a wise thing for me to do right now? Is it wise for me to stay in the south of France for 6 weeks?
It ain't, but,
No, but
amazing.
not wanting. So, and that was something that Josephine did.
Right. Yes,
It's like,
she did. She
it's
was
like, I don't want to know. It's all going to work out.
Right.
Oh, that's me right now.
And we're in, and it's like we're invincible. Like, we don't hurt. Like, we'll work and we'll make it right. We'll fix it. But this, and then when it gets down to, I mean, okay, I did not go for the trap of the $5,000 purse. That was never the choice that I would make. I have to say that, no. So, putting off the reality of where I was, not wanting to know where I was, because I wanted to do what I wanted to do.
Right, without having to worry.
And
Yeah.
I think that was that was my biggest flaw. And so then the results that come from all of that can be so messy, so catastrophic. You got to go back, pedal,
it all up.
fix it, clean it all up. Why? So that, I learned
Do you think
not
people
to do
assume
that.
that you're rich too, always? Like, even back then, just because you've had movies that have been huge for a long time. And so after that,
Yes, I
people
think people
automatically
don't
assume,
understand how important how expensive it is to sustain.
because you play
everything.
expensive roles
And
too.
there are,
Right.
I do. I love that meme that they
we were
have.
just talking about
Lynn
that.
Whitfield played a lot of stuff, but she never
paid
paid broke.
Never.
Right.
And I played a maid once.
Once.
A bad
One time.
One time.
I did, but
One time out of 99.
I played, but she was really, really great. It was called Sophia and the Moon Hanger. But I don't know, after Josephine, I mean, I think that's a part of the typecasting thing. After Josephine, people just always saw me as this grand, you gotta.
That's not a bad thing, though.
at all.
It's not bad.
Yeah. You have a rich look and voice.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, everything about you
And your
is like-
energy.
Right.
You got
Luxurious.
rich.
Very like regal.
Yes.
People say that, but I don't, I
get it.
don't, I guess so, but that's not how I see it, I don't see, well, I do. Here's what I do know. I'm entitled to be here.
Yes, you are.
I am entitled to walk this earth without full explanation of all of who I am, and I really don't need to give a lot of energy to things that like it could be, racism, sexism. You all very rarely hear me complaining about all those things. You might see me encouraging people to vote. You see me doing
Advocating.
some things, but I don't want to give them all my space. That they're important enough that you have to talk about it all the time. So I think I kind of I just think I'm supposed to be here.
And you're from Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Yes.
Which is, I've been there a few times.
You have?
Yes, I have.
It's a camera.
I remember the first time I went there, but after that, I did interview and be a young boy, so I
Yeah,
spent some
and-
time
Oh,
there
yeah.
while I was out in Baton Rouge, and I hosted a party there. I was there like a few times. How do you feel like Baton Rouge has shaped who you are today, and what was that like?
Well, I think the people who loved me, the women who loved me, the women who, my mother, my grandmothers, my aunts, all those people there, because she helped to shape me, because what was segregated in the South, and people don't quite get it, is that somehow there's still this way that races coexist as long as they're not giving each other a problem, so it's cool. And so the Black world that I grew up in, everybody was the doctor, the lawyer, the Indian chief. We had our own yards, our own land, our own homes. So those people and that culture and that legacy, has just been with me always.
Right.
So that's Baton Rouge. That's where I was. But now New Orleans
Ooh.
is
I hung
where.
out with your daughter in New Orleans.
Yes.
Grace Gibson, the amazing Grace Gibson. Shout out to you.
Yes, it was just at the Apollo Cafe last weekend. Sorry you couldn't come, but there's some other dates coming up, and you got to
All right.
come, Angela.
No, she's a singer. She's amazing. I was embarrassed. Tell her, sorry, I was so drunk.
in New
The first time we hung out, we were good. The second time, I have no idea, but she definitely was.
But she said,
Hanging
she's
tough.
so sweet. And
Okay,
we
good.
took care of shit.
See?
It's New Orleans.
It's New Orleans.
Right, what am I
I
supposed to
mean, if
do?
you don't
If you're
get,
gonna get drunk,
gotta-
that's what you're gonna get drunk at.
Right. And eat.
that's it.
But yeah, so you said, but New Orleans.
Well, New Orleans, I have this real cultural connection with New Orleans, because when I'm in New Orleans, I feel Europe, I feel Africa, I feel a lack of cultural judgment.
Right.
Like, people's cultures are respected there.
Okay.
Even the Irish, the Italian, so that's why they have all those musical families, the Nevilles,
Okay.
the Marcelluses, all of that. It's like a legacy of music and culture that just continues to.
You can walk
It's
around New
generational.
Orleans and go from bar to bar and just see amazing live music. Like, why doesn't this person have
Yes.
a deal? Or seeing the
Yes.
kids outside. It's like
Yeah.
a place
love
where
it,
it's like,
yeah.
is this in the air, in the water, that
Yes.
these kids,
Yes.
even from a young age, just have
tap
like the
dancing and
ability.
playing drums.
It's one of my
Culture.
favorite places to visit.
It's amazing.
Culture.
It's
But
an amazing
I was at
place.
Trombone Shorty's closing, because he closes out Jazz Fest every year. And I was backstage, like in his family section, and there was this little girl. They were just wailing on stage, and Cyril Neville and Trombone Shorty, and this little girl had drumsticks, and she was drumming
Killing
on the metal railings, like killing it. And when Trombone raised his trumpets up, she raised up her drumsticks,
Yes,
and she was
ma'am.
like, "Yeah," to the family. You know what I mean?
It's an amazing
love
place.
that.
It's very magical.
Yes.
It is.
You know,
so
to be-
I can't imagine not having it. It fuels me to be like a better artist.
Right.
Take more chances, And when you hear great music, or you see like interesting, intuitive painting, it just makes me better, Like art becomes a real expression, the expressionistic part of acting.
And exciting to have a daughter who is a musician also.
So talented. And I am so glad and so founded that I can really say that with gusto and mean it, because I can't stand artistic mediocrity. And I would be
And
so
she know the
sad.
standard is high. Okay.
Right.
So yeah, she's a really great composer, band leader, entertainer. She really had people in the palm of her hand up there at the Apollo Cafe this weekend. It was very
We all got to
exciting.
take a trip
Right.
to make
Yes.
sure we see Grace Gibson.
Absolutely.
Yes, well, I think she has some dates coming up here in New York.
Okay.
I'm gonna let you know.
I will
but
be
we're
there.
gonna plan
Yes.
something.
I would love to.
Uh-huh.
We're
Did
gonna
you
go have
not
some
seen
sake.
anything? It is so like not how sweet and cool she is.
No, she's
it's a whole different.
She get it from her
animal.
mama. I'll say that.
I know you gotta listen. You gotta stand at the center of yourself.
Yeah.
When you're doing your art. I mean, like if you're not coming from
the
here and below, the gut and below is where all the power is, and you got to use that in your art. You know.
What was it like for you having a daughter while you were in this business? Like when, thinking about like when you were married and then finding out that you were having a baby and then having a girl. What was that like?
First of all, when I found out I was having a girl, I cried.
Really?
I boo-hooed so hard.
You seem like
and
a girl
I was
mom.
having my makeup. I am a good mom, but
That's a girl mom. I see you with a girl and wanting a girl.
Oh, a girl mom. But a makeup artist was doing my makeup, and the doctor said, "Well, we have the results." The doctor was the teacher. I said, "Okay." Back then, that's what they would do. They would tell you, "This is you're having a girl." I was like, "Oh my God, I have to grow up."
To grow up.
Party time is over.
It was bad. Because if it was a son is always going to, you know what I mean? I thought it would be like, that would be
different.
easy. I would have to, and those little girls would be getting on his nerves, but mama would always be, but I really took it seriously. And I was in mourning for the first bit of time because I would have to be a better, stronger woman. And I just love being a little girl in a sandbox, acting and telling stories and not having to,
Grow up.
Yes.
I have a daughter, and I never thought about that. I mean, I had her when I was 17, so I was still growing up as well already.
Yes.
But like that just gives me a whole different perspective of like the dynamic of being a girl mom.
But
Because you do, and now that we're both like she's grown, we're both grown. Now that she's grown, it's just like, yeah.
But
I
even
did
you
have to
did
grow
an
up fast.
amazing job with your daughter. I think your daughter is amazing. I think you was amazing
listen
mother.
to that.
Like I was thinking, so I have 2 boys. And I've always said I wanted a girl, but I'm like, God knows what he does, and he does. Everything happens for a reason and purpose. And God gives you what's for you and what he knows you can handle because
Lovely.
baby girl, at 16, me with no mother, no auntie, no none of that, and a girl, that would have been, and even my second child, I thought it was a girl and still, I was like, I get it, God, we ain't ready. But now at 40, I'm like, I'm ready for a girl. Now,
You're
girl, I
not
know what to tell
40.
you. Yes.
Well, you better hurry up, darling.
It's not gonna happen.
Advice from Lynn Whitfield.
Kalita,
Better hurry
I'm
up.
taking that baby. My friend is having a girl, and I told her, I said, don't worry, I'll be the pappy.
Taking that baby.
It's not coming from this side, but I just feel like,
you look so like you're 20.
you know what I say? I said, God bless me with youth because from the age of 16, I had to be a full grown adult with no adults support, like on my own.
Figure it out.
So I thugged it out. I said, God, you giving me this. You're going to get me through this. And he's really repaying me back with everything I ever wanted.
You see?
Everything I ever wanted. Like all the fear and all of that. Like I'm to a place now at 40 where I'm like, what are you scared for? Like you has handled the toughest job that a female could be handled at a young age.
That is the toughest job. And it's a job. Let's be clear.
Right.
Right.
And like you did it, and look where I'm at now. I've never had to do anything that I regret to make sure my sons were taken care of. Money, finance ain't crazy, but I have, ethical and just integrity and just a good person. And my boys are everything. I raised amazing
They're very
men.
sweet.
They really are.
Yeah.
I raised amazing
so
men.
wonderful.
They're sensitive, they're emotional, they're strong, they're protectors. All of that. I don't think at that age with everything going on, I would have been able to give that to her.
And you did.
Uh-huh.
You gave it to your boys.
It's something different.
I can
right.
see that.
So everybody gets, because like I said, her daughter, I think her daughter is amazing,
Thank you.
And the way she speaks about your daughter is amazing. So
Yeah,
you got what
she's
you were supposed to
amazing.
get.
Yes.
Lynn, you're also the only person in here who's ever been married.
Oh, yes.
Not just one time, but 2 times.
Yes.
What are your thoughts
twice.
on marriage now? Because I feel like people have changed as far as like, for you, when you first got married and the importance of marriage, what was that like?
Well, I never really thought about marriage. The first time I got married, it was to someone 22 years older than I was.
Mm-hmm.
He was a director and ran the DC Black Repertory Company, taught. He was my acting teacher. I was in Howard University.
Mm-hmm.
My mother found out that I was spending more time at his house than I spent in my dormitory. Ooh. And she called his house one morning, like at 6 a.m. in the morning, and I answered. I was like, and she said, I never, as long as I lived and breathed, thought that a child of mine would be, it was, those years. And my mom was a Southern belle, but could always use language like a sailor.
Okay.
And she let go some expletives that were like, and she was so upset. I think she hired a detective, to know where I was, or something like that. And so I loved Van Taal Whitfield. That's where Whitfield came from. And it was great. He looked just like my dad. Beware when somebody looks like your dad. Or when you find the traits or something that,
it was something you were looking for.
There was something. But, and I knew that I wouldn't be married, but I basically got married because we loved each other. And he said, well, we'll just get married. I don't want, to create this, because my mom was so upset. So that was why I married.
Oh, so he was like, listen, we're going to get this.
Yes.
Right.
We're going to make it right for mama.
Right.
Yes.
And how long did that marriage last?
About 5 or 6 years, because after I graduated I was still in college. And he had an 8-year-old son.
Wow.
And I was doing all that, Lance Whitfield. And after I graduated, I wanted to go to New York.
Yeah.
He was running the National Endowment for the Arts for, giving money to, diverse grants to people, culture. So he was settling down.
Right.
And I was just
Thriving.
oh my God, I gotta go. I gotta so we kind of always knew.
Right.
So that was the first time. And I was
okay.
too young to give any marriage advice.
What was the proposal like?
It was like, no, we'll just get married
get
so
married.
that
That
they
was
don't
the
want to.
proposal?
He said, don't
like
worry.
okay.
We really just really enjoyed each other's company. He was so kind. He was so nurturing.
That's good.
And we did such great, work together at the DC Black Repertory Company. So it was just a strange kind of, huh?
It worked.
Yeah.
It did work.
It did
But
what it did at the time.
Yes.
How hard was it for you to
That was the first time.
So how hard was it for you to be like, okay, this isn't working, let's get a divorce? Was it just okay, we're cool, we agree on it?
It's kind of like we understood. He understood that I was just spreading my wings.
Right.
And that he was settling down. Because he was 22 years older than
And if he
I.
loved you, he wanted you to go and do what you needed to do.
So it was like when I look back on it, I think it was probably the most generous kind of relationship I've ever experienced.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
But I was too young to really appreciate. I just knew I had so much to do.
And was he hyped when he saw you in the movie roles? And
Yes.
Because it's like, this is...
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. He was so
But you can't go to New York and nothing happens.
right.
You better have
go to
that
New York and
wonderful
then
woman
leave
at
New York and
divorced
went
me.
to Australia and ended up in Los Angeles for Colored Girls.
And oh yes, and I just saw For Colored Girls on Broadway when it was on Broadway.
Yeah, I
here.
didn't get to see it, but a lot of the original.
It came and went so fast. I was very upset about that.
Oh, did you enjoy it?
I did.
Oh.
Actually, Laura, you came with me.
That
That
was
was
my
her first
first
Broadway
play.
play. I took her.
My very first
that's
play.
so great.
I thoroughly enjoyed
We
it.
cried.
D Woods, yes. D Woods was amazing.
D.
All
Woods
of
is
them
great.
were amazing.
And the poetry is so great. Yes. The
It's a
words
story
are
that lives
incredible.
forever.
I cried. I felt every single. The actor was like, "Are you crying?" Yes.
It was an emotional day. But but when I say that lives forever, a lot of what you've done has lived forever.
Yes.
Yeah.
I always wanted to be involved with something that would stand the test of time. And I'm
Yes, you
very
have.
fortunate that there, a few of them.
Even think about East Bayou. Everybody from that.
Yep.
Everyone
Has gone on to
great.
Journey,
amazing-
Megan, Jay, Casey went on to direct Harriet, and then, the Whitney Houston and all that. So everybody continued on.
Like,
to
who
build
knew?
a
Did you
career.
know that was going to be what it was?
A classic?
Yeah.
I felt like it was really special.
Yeah.
And I was very excited to do it because I was inspired by my aunt, who was married to
Somebody that was philandering.
well, Uncle D. I'm not gonna like go all into it, but
I'm rocking with my aunt.
but a an OBGYN husband and lots of things. But it was the way that people stay, that women stay,
right.
and women didn't say, and it was the period of time, and I kept asking Casey, the director, please, she needs one scene where she just,
Flips out.
lays him thin.
Yeah.
And she said, no, don't. You'll thank me later when you see it. Your silence is more powerful. I really thought I was going to have a stroke. It was just so hard to, not. But she was right. Yeah. There was a power in that.
Think about the power in staying with somebody who was doing what he was doing and being silent about it. It's kind of like the movie Fences, too, the play Fences, when he done had a whole baby by somebody else, and she was like taking care of it.
But those were choices that, I think women make choices, and who are we to judge if it works out? Because I've actually seen some of those relationships that they work, they go, and then they're happy that they're together, on canes and stuff together, still walking, well, girl, everybody can't push the hookah down.
Right. But don't act like you ain't flipped no table either.
I'm just saying. But some people choose, like, I'd rather be here than there. Yeah. I'm going to make the choice to stick this out. I mean, it's a.
But you know what I do think?
What?
I think that as in the time period too, as women are becoming independent with jobs, making more than our men too at times, we don't feel the necessity because sometimes, survival wise, you feel like I need to.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, there's that, right? You don't have to. You're not. You have the bank account, you have the job, you have the degree often or whatever, but some people still choose to stay and work through it. Yeah. And some people don't.
It's a choice.
It's a choice.
I don't have to stay. Because sometimes people act like you done gave up if you don't stay. If you're like, I can't do it.
No, that's got to be a personal choice. I
mean, it's a choice. Yeah. And that's why I stay out of people's decisions. Yes. If you ask me what I think, I'm always be here for you, and it's your decision.
Anytime I've ever weighed in on things like that, I get myself in trouble.
Yeah. And then they stay together, and then everybody looking at you.
And I need to. I just. Right. Even if you say stay, don't go, and then it ends up being horrible. Right. You know what I mean? It's just I learned just to be a support.
I hear you. I'm listening. But right here, lay your shoulder right here. Right here.
Yeah, I went to this this place where I did all raw food and detoxed and, colonics, and really, it was as spiritual as it was anything else. And they had classes as well. And this one class was called Compassionate Listening. Like, you just don't talk. You had to hear somebody tell you whatever they wanted to tell you.
That's hard.
We all went silent when you said that. We were like,
I know. I'm like, listen.
But the compassionate listening is listening from your heart, but not talking, not giving any advice, any opinion, nothing. It was really hard.
It was hard. I'm practicing.
And it was hard for everyone, but it really. But people, and you'd be surprised at people. Some people came up with their own answers. They were so relieved just to get it out that it didn't hurt as bad anymore.
Right.
That they just to have it out in the ether.
Just the release.
Compassionate listening. I had no idea. That was just in August, September.
Wow.
That I went and did this. That I experienced that.
Okay. And where was it? Was it in Arizona? Where was it?
It's in Puerto Rico.
Oh, Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico.
Okay.
It's in Puerto Rico.
So I would love to do something like that.
It's called the Ann Wigmore Institute.
And
That sounds fascinating.
Right.
And it's all green and all that. Nothing tastes good. Food is medicine. Just know that.
Food is
but raw food, like, but not raw meat.
No. Vegetables only.
Yeah,
How did you feel?
I think it's
do all raw.
vegan. I think it's
Yeah,
a raw
I'm like,
vegan.
wait, I
But
don't.
when I came back, I was so able. Grace and my
love to do that.
relationship improved.
Oh wow, okay.
It was good, but
Right.
if I can
It made it even
still
next
remember
level.
that,
Yeah.
yeah,
I would love to do that. Let's do that, guys.
And how long
we
were
need a
you there for?
retreat.
Let's do it all together.
14 days.
Wow.
Ooh, that's a
the
long
full
time.
cycle.
I would love to
be
do
eating
that.
raw veggies.
Right.
I don't know.
Starving.
The experience, I think, will
Now,
make
I
up
wanna
for
hear
it.
about
Well, I tell you, I came back feeling good.
Good, looking good, skin glowing.
Now let's talk about this second marriage.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes. So the second marriage was to Brian Gibson.
Oh, always through work, by the way, because she works all the time. So that's the only way
Always
you're gonna
through-
meet somebody.
Well, look, I'm not on any boards and all that. You know how people go and they
dating
join
sites,
sites or dating sites. I would be mortified. And honestly, I'm technically a little, weak. So, all that like talking online, all that, I need to hear a voice. I need to,
Okay.
experience. So, and he directed
Josephine
the
Baker.
Josephine Baker
Baker.
story. Could not stand him.
That's how it starts.
I could not stand him because it took 6 months for them to decide who the right Josephine Baker would be. And they passed on me the first time. And because they were Irene Cara was going to be the young Josephine, and Diane Carroll was going to be the older Josephine. And it was going to be played by two women. And then I don't know how, after months, they decided that wasn't. And they asked me to come back in and do a full tilt screen test that took 6 months.
Thank God.
6 hours.
6
I
hours.
loved
I
you
remember
on
you
it.
said they had to meet you in a restaurant.
First, they had
Yeah,
to meet me in a
first, yeah.
restaurant because I said, I'm not going back in. I have to do this on my own terms. I'm not going into their office and sit across and be judged upon. If they want to meet me, we have to meet in a restaurant and the table has to be round. I can't do it. I cannot do it because I
were like, "That's
cried.
her."
I cried myself to sleep so many nights because I believed that I was the right person for it. I was so sad, and my agent went to bat for that. And Reuben Cannon, who was a casting director at the time, they worked it through, and that's exactly what we did.
That's great that your
Round table
agent
in the
went to bat
restaurant.
for you because some
Yes.
agents would have been like, yo, are you bugging? Like, you're crazy. That's good. You must have had a great agent.
Yes, I did. And so, and it was small. I was with Susan Smith and Peggy that she just said, you're right. Because they saw all the pain I went through, all the work I went through, producing my own screen test and all that. So I was the one. And when we did all the prep, and then we went to Budapest, is where we shot. And we were in Budapest for 3 months. And we just gained so much respect for each other, right? Because marriages, right? You want your husband to be like your protector, right? And he wants you to like help him realize his dreams.
Right.
So as actress director, he
same
protected
dynamic.
my performance, and I was able to fulfill his vision of Josephine, and we worked together as such a beautiful team. And so we fell in love doing that. But except, when you're acting, the director is protecting you as an actor. And when he says action, you talk. And when he says cut, you shut up. But that doesn't work that
You gonna
Yeah.
talk
That
and you gonna keep
dynamic
talking.
Once we left Budapest.
So once we left Budapest, we were out of this bubble of
work.
of what we were creating, because it was just such respect and regard. And then we both came from oh my God, it was like Adam and Eve after they bit from the apple. It's like, oh my God, we feel naked now. We don't have the cover of like a goal. And we were both scared. But within the first 3 months, he was Buddhist, and he'd be doing that Nam-myo Renge Kyo Nam.
We
I'm
saw
like,
Angela
that's my
Bassett.
chant.
what the heck is he
like that
saying?
every
And
morning.
he came down from his altar with her, and I was Christian, so it was freaking me out. And he said, there's a little spirit in the universe that wants to come in, and we should let it.
A baby?
I thought it was entrapment. I said, are you crazy? This is my first big career opportunity, and you want me to... I said, absolutely not. Absolutely not. You got to be... No. But that's not how God saw it.
Right.
And
I had other plans.
Right.
It's
Every
so
time.
annoying. So we left Budapest. We got married. 3 months later, I was pregnant. It was like, and then we had Grace, and then it was just all the things and all the fear and all the stuff. So before Grace was 1 year old, we were separated.
Okay.
We both won Emmys. We were a Hollywood power couple. Everybody thought we were so great and we just
really
were
wasn't.
too scared.
Right.
Wow.
Wow.
Listen, this is all before social media.
Right.
So
Right.
Yeah, we had no
Yes,
idea.
it's interesting because things play out so differently.
Yeah.
Everybody,
Sitting here like I'm watching, I'm listening to a movie. I can't wait to the Lynn Whitfield.
Ain't nobody playing me for a long ass time. So
It's
you can
gonna be
forget
hard.
that. You can forget that. That's not
Listen.
happening. I'm still gonna be
Yeah,
telling.
I-
My story is still unfolding, guys.
That part.
Yes.
I still have so much to do.
Yes, you do. You've done so much that you so
Yes.
I
No,
feel like
but I have
part
so
one
much
and
I
then
wanna do.
part one and then part two. Like, what do you want to do
Yeah,
still?
what are some things?
Tell us. Manifestation.
Yes.
I want to do a really hardcore thriller.
Okay. Ooh, I love thrillers. I can
Not
see
a
that.
comedy thriller, but a real thriller.
I can
Okay.
definitely see you do that.
Thrillers
I
and
love a
horror
thriller.
movies are my
They're
favorites.
Okay, so I want to do that.
Would you want to be the killer or the killed if you had a choice in a thriller?
Or the detective.
Maybe both. Oh, no, not the detective.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to be in it. Yeah, I want to
like
be
that.
in it.
I can definitely see you in it.
And I want to do some kind of sci-fi extraterrestrial kind of,
Okay.
intergalactic. Like,
Alien superstar.
I can see it. I can see it.
Yes. I would love that.
I want to play a madam.
Wow.
Okay.
yes.
We love
You would
that
do that.
for us.
That would eat.
Because I think that there were certain times in history when women didn't have many options. You couldn't go to school. You couldn't have a bank account. You couldn't vote. You couldn't, you either had to work for somebody else.
That's why they stayed in them relationships.
Or or work for yourself. And one of the ways you could work for yourself is that. So I want to, how women use their sexual prowess as in exchange for their freedom, in some kind of way,
Okay.
A means of
something
survival.
interesting, a means of survival, right? Because it wasn't always now where there are actually real hard choices. So I want to play a madam.
I can see
I've
that.
passed
definitely
I've
see
passed the sex worker phase. It would be.
I don't know, Lynn Whitfield. I think.
Well, I don't know. Let's see.
I think you can make some good money.
That
Can we
part.
bring her to Magic City
Okay.
for the
premiere.
Well, and I do want to say, because even your role on The Shy,
Yeah.
you have that type of power. As like the Don, the boss.
Take care of it.
So
Sometimes people kind of fall into a place of power, right? That and so Alicia, her brother was the one. Q was really the
Right.
one, and she was doing all this other, but he's gone. And Rob is,
Poor Rob.
doing. Don't talk about my son. Like that.
Yeah, but I need you to be a little nicer to Rob because Rob trying to be a good boy.
No, I love her. That's what I don't want you talking about it. I love him.
Yeah.
She just wants him to.
Be a man.
be his best.
And be strong. And
Family ain't
family
always
is
Well, one
family.
thing that a parent never wants to think that they might leave this earth
Right.
and their child not be strong enough to handle it.
Yeah.
that's
you
tough
got him
love. Tough
shot in
parental
the
guidance.
process.
That's real.
You got him shot. He
is that
missed.
terrible?
That's freaking. I was so mad.
I am so mad
I
at
said,
her.
damn it.
But
Emmett and
I have
Rob.
to just be in it. I can't judge.
Right.
But when she's over that bed, how she feels.
Yeah.
You could see how she felt.
It's about to go down.
So
I
that's
cannot
what I'm
wait.
saying. You fall into it. I
can't wait.
Because he couldn't
Got
do
3
it.
more days, Lord. 3 more days.
He couldn't do it. So that meant that put it back on her
Yeah.
to do.
Yeah.
So sometimes you fall into having to be the badass.
And I'm nervous
You are?
and I can't wait.
Well, you fell into it, but you were ready.
Ready.
You know, and that's why you always gotta stay ready, so you ain't gotta get ready,
ready.
as they say.
It, right?
Yes.
Because it's kind of like, you know, fate and destiny. This falls into your lap because it was meant to be.
Yes.
Yes. Like that. And things like that, I mean, you know, Alicia and them, they kind of on the dark side, but in all through life, you know, stay ready. For the
So you
good,
don't
for the
gotta
bad, for
get
the
ready.
gifts.
I think Alicia, well, I think Victor is going to do it. Or Alicia.
Do what?
Off with Duda.
Do
kill
the
him.
do.
Oh, goodness. You know, you're just jumping
Yeah,
to
trying to make some
conclusions.
predictions.
She trying to figure it out.
You know, the way they work over there, you know, I don't even know.
She don't yet till she gets the script. Would y'all be sad to see Duda go? Because sometimes
I'm not going to be sad.
sometimes we like the bad guy in the show.
I mean, well, I'm sad to see anybody go, but Duda is a mother fudger.
But it also makes it interesting.
It does,
It does.
because he does have so
Every story
Duda
needs a
is
villain.
a product of his life.
Mm-hmm.
But he has, his loyalty is to himself and what he wants. At the end of the day, no matter what his feelings are for anybody around him, he is focused on what it is that he wants, and anything that he can do to get to that, he's gonna get to it. But Alicia ain't with that.
People like that
You
can't
mess
be
with my
trusted ever.
family. And baby, whether I or someone, it's gonna happen.
But she's
Baby,
not gonna give you
couldn't
this.
do it.
She's not
I
gonna let you know
I'm
what's gonna
trying slowly
happen.
but surely. You know, you can tell me
Well, you
after.
Right. Mic
Sometimes
drop.
it shows that you know, you shoot all kinds of, you don't know
Right.
what ending they're
What's gonna make it? What's
haven't-
Yeah. You don't know until you know. We all gonna watch it together.
But you know, I'm gonna be ready for whichever one, whatever it is, whatever it is.
Now, I told you about the Josephine Baker connection, but also Lady May, right? May is my middle name, M-A-E,
That's
just
right.
like that.
Aw, really?
Yeah, it is. So I just feel like this connection with,
But the few times that we've just hung in the world, I feel a connection.
yeah. When I tell you, first of all, this is crazy to me, but I love it. So tell Grace, you know, we sisters now. Just so she knows. Now, I want to make sure you understand everybody who's in here. So Gigi has a lot of amazing things happening. And she is also narrating the Magic City docuseries. And it got picked up by a major network,
Yep.
by the way.
Wow.
So she was, Gigi.
Magic City in Atlanta.
In Atlanta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
yeah.
when you said you wanted to play a madam, if there's a Magic City movie, P Valley, one of the main characters was based on Gigi as a
Really?
dancer.
Which
Yeah.
one?
Mercedes.
Mm-hmm.
Like I am the real Mercedes in like real life.
Really?
Yeah.
Like her storyline is like very, very like 80% my real life.
Really?
Lynn,
And
you
I'm-
should write the movie, honestly, or
That part.
like honestly, I could see. I sometimes feel like if you want to roll, you have the
create
power
it.
I
to
know.
create
I'm not-
it.
Manifest
I'm not
and
gonna tell Grace you said that.
Okay,
she
she
drives
says
me.
it.
I'm like, Grace, get out
You
my
ha-
face.
I can see it. Like you could even collaborate, have writers, but I could see you creating that because
Creating
Yes.
it.
that would go.
I think I have to really contribute to the actual story because I really do understand what it should be.
And Jordan is the last ever Playmate cover,
Yes.
Playboy
Playmate of the Year.
Playmate of the Year cover.
Yeah.
Bravo.
Last
Thank
ever.
you.
Yeah.
And only one of 4 black women.
Yes.
Yes.
There's only 4 of us.
Really?
That ever been
Yeah.
the Playmate
That
of
ever
the
been a
Year.
Playmate of the Year.
And
Wow.
she's right now on Summer House Martha's Vineyard.
Yes.
Bravo.
Which I actually
Bravo.
just dressed like Josephine Baker in an episode.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, congratulations,
Thank you.
ladies.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Everybody, and people, you're both telling stories
Yes.
as well.
Yes.
So what I'm saying is, don't we think that you should create what it is that you want to see? Because I feel like who wouldn't want to work with you?
right.
Who tells you no?
Well, I guess you have to ask to find out.
There you go.
Nobody's telling you no. I'm just saying. And I would love to see that.
Yeah, I'm gonna do
Me too.
that. It is in my soul so hard.
But when you do it, I'm following my dreams of being an actress that I've been wanting to do since I was younger, and I just put it out there in the universe. So if you do that, please do think about me.
Get on that pole, girl.
I'll be your pole coach.
Listen, when
something.
Dan was like, you got Lynn Whitfield, I said, who? Yes.
It could be a Madame thriller. You
I mean,
combine the
this
two.
is
All right,
every
my
single
love.
movie. So
I will. Yeah.
look, we just manifested a whole.
Well,
It's a
and you
whole
know,
lot going on.
it's been going on for decades and decades and decades and centuries. So before there was a pole, there was still, because that's an art form.
It really is.
Yes.
I
Listen,
mean, that's,
Gigi's no joke.
That's even different than what I'm talking about. The strength and power and all of that. Girl.
And not
Body
just the
strength.
physical, but the mental as well. Because you have to deal with rejection, you have to deal with competition, you have to deal with people frowning down upon you or talking to you or disrespecting you. You know, you have to always keep your head high and just stick to your goals. You also have to stay away from the bad influences that the club life can bring, like the drugs and the pimps and all of that stuff. So it's not as easy. See,
And you have to
people
act like
think
you
that-
care
confidence
to when
of
these
it all.
guys
and
are
the
talking to
confidence.
you.
Yeah.
People think
That's the
that an exotic entertainer is just getting on stage, shaking ass, and going home counting a bunch of money, and it's not
Right.
that at all.
You know, one time I think it was Magic City that I went to once. Girl, and it was like right after. It was like no. Here's what happened. All of my Thin Line fans and
Oh
stuff,
shit.
they started buying me lap dances. I'm like,
Wow.
no, thank you.
This is left.
I know, no, thank. I was like, I didn't know that would be the impact.
Yeah.
Right, because you go, and in Atlanta, it's like
It's
people
so
are going
normal.
to hear jazz.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, it is.
It's so casual.
You're right about that. Right.
Yes.
People
It's
are
very-
laid back. And
It's
just,
very much the regular thing to do.
It's just. It's
The
just,
first time Angela came in Magic City,
Yes.
I was in the middle of doing a lap dance, and when she walked in, I ran up and hugged her, not thinking in my mind that I'm completely naked. And she's like, "Hey, girl."
But that's what happened. So there was a girl all up on the wall and stuff and going because they,
Might have been Gigi.
she was inching over. I mean, I bought so many left and I was gifting them to people.
Right.
And so,
Like, here's what-
You get a lap dance.
and this girl looked down at me and she said, "Oh, Miss Whitfield."
So nice to meet you.
Right.
I said, "Girl, you working? Don't stop now." Right. Do what you
Yeah.
Amazing.
It was like, and then I did talk to, and just hearing people's stories. Cause like with me, some women felt compelled to tell me that,
Right.
well, this is why I'm here. Or I'm
and
doing this.
every story was what? Completely different.
Completely
Everybody's
different.
reason is their reason.
Exactly.
Everybody's path that gets them through that door is a different path.
Yeah, it was just really interesting. So it's one of my fascinations how women have used themselves to, as a power broker in some kind of way. I mean, I still think it's valid to look at and talk about and tell stories about
Right.
from different angles and from different points in history.
Well, the thing with the documentary is it's a 3-part docuseries. It touches on the owner, who is a black man. Magic City has been owned by the same black man for going on 40 years. It'll be 40 years and 25. He did a 9-year jail stint in the feds for a drug conspiracy. Still owns the club, clearly. He has a family. The whole Atlanta hip-hop and the whole, a lot of hip-hop artists' careers being started in the strip club, dancers known as the unofficial A&Rs.
Yeah.
Then you tie in the sports, the politics. There's so
Yes.
many different celebrities,
There are.
young and older, who speak into. There's 60 different people. Drake, Jermaine Dupri are executive producers. Jamie Gertz, who owns the Hawks, she's also an executive producer. And it's such a huge project. It's just, I'm still just like amazed that it's even happening. Like, I know I've done the work.
very
I've
exciting.
seen the first episode. I know that it's very much a real thing. I know that we've been picked up by a major network, but until I actually sit in front of a TV and watch it, I still can't
And
even
everybody's
believe.
tweeting about
Right.
it.
Yeah, I still
hashtagging.
can't even believe that it's
Do you
happening.
know when it is airing?
This summer. Like, literally, the press conference is any day now.
Oh my
I am
goodness.
waiting on the call.
What are we doing? What are we doing?
Keep me posted.
I will.
Yeah, I wanna
I
come to
will.
the-
Yeah,
I'm like,
premiere in Atlanta. I am
go.
literally waiting on the call. I know that production, the moment I see one of those numbers pop up on my phone, I know that very next phone call I get from them is going to be
It's
press
time to
release
talk
tomorrow.
about it. Yeah.
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 I'm
So
so
I'm
happy
literally
for
just
you.
waiting on the call.
I'm so excited. I can't
I'm
wait.
so just like, because for so long as an entertainer, and I was really young when I started, because I was the single parent. And, again, everybody has their own story. But for so long, I got frowned upon and even from my own family members and people who just did not understand what it was that I was actually doing. They took what they thought I was doing and, dumped that on me as I was doing something terrible. And I really was doing something that was art. Strip is art. And I was quoted by saying that at our premiere at South by Southwest by Variety.com. Thank you to them. And strip really is art, It's more than just taking your clothes off for money.
It's freedom
it's
too.
So much more than that.
Yeah.
And the art is being celebrated. And I feel like it couldn't be a more better time, with everything else that's happening within the space and within just like music and politics and everything all combined. Like if this was going to happen, this is the perfect time for it to happen. And I'm just so grateful to be a part of it. And my role grew. Like initially my phone call was just to do an interview. And then the interview turned into narrating. The narrating turned into, I have producer credit. I sat in on the pitch. I was a part of the pitch team.
You
so I sat in on every single pitch.
We got to drink some sake to that.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Thank you. Cheers. Thank
We
you so
love
much.
to see it. And all that to say, Miss Lynn Whitfield,
that to
it's time
say.
to write your own. And start your
Yes,
And who's someone in the industry, in your industry, who I enjoy very much, she's like a big sister to me, that I feel would be a great person to maybe go work with in that space is Tasha Smith.
Oh, Tasha's great.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's an amazing woman. She's an amazing director. She has a dance background from way back in the day as well. And I worked with her on a project that never was released back in like 2015. But she has that same, like, she would always tell me like, girl, when it's time, I'm gonna write the movie about your life.
Yeah.
And I really
so
feel
cool
like
and
that
so
could
dope.
be
And
like.
she's been doing great work directing.
Yes.
Yes, she has.
Did she do some episodes of P-Valley?
Yes.
She did.
She
Yes.
absolutely
Yes.
did.
Yep.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I'm excited for everything that everybody here has going on, all the manifestations that happened today.
Yes.
And you know what I wanted to ask you too? Would you ever get married again?
If it was like a God thing, if it was, I don't feel a need to marry, but if it happened and it was really, really, really joyful and comfortable and all that, but I still don't really see a need to marry.
Right.
But you never know. Never say never.
Never say never.
Are you dating?
I want to. Do you have any idea?
Oh.
So I'm doing like the speed dating thing, if you want to be part of
We
that.
are not going to
Okay,
get Miss
Laura,
Whitfield
enough.
into the speed dating, girl.
She's not even getting on no app.
No.
It's not on the app. It's face to face.
No,
Speed
ma'am.
dating.
Laura,
You pick who you
Girl,
want.
those people coming and sitting in the seat being nervous and going and just they would, I know.
Now, what Miss Lynn Whitfield needs is to meet somebody in person or through somebody who she knows and respects in this business, who she trusts.
genuine.
The old folks way.
Yeah.
You know, and I kind of feel like I could see you with like a
Way,
Tell me, what can you
way
see?
up with Cupid.
with like a handsome 35-year-old.
Period.
Giving
Well,
younger
that would
men.
be fun because I'm not really interested in pushing a wheelchair.
Stop. I can see it.
Like,
And he would be so
you can't
hyped.
just look at the you gotta look it down the
Yes.
line.
Yes.
And we're at the point
We
where
have to
things
look for
turn
the future.
quicker. They turn quickly
We have to look for the
in
future.
a twinkling of an eye. I don't know. So put it out there in the universe.
Yes.
So, 45 would be nice.
Okay, 45. Fair enough. 45.
They nice.
That's old for you, though. That's too old for you.
Well,
I see 35.
I just feel
I see
energy.
35.
Yeah,
We
we
need
need
45.
Don't even want a 35-year-old man.
It just has to be great energy.
Yeah,
The right energy.
I like it.
type person.
I see somebody taking you on trips, flying private.
Are you all listening? Hello.
Is this thing on?
I see tons
Tap,
of jewelry.
tap, tap, I'm tapping. Sound check.
Yes. You need 6 more weeks in the south of France.
That part. Every summer.
Well, Miss Lynn Whitfield, I am so excited. I cannot wait to see like when we reconvene in maybe like a year and everything is in progress.
Oh my God. You mean to tell me I'm being held accountable?
You're being
Yes.
held accountable.
Yes.
We're making this movie.
This homework.
We're making the thriller.
We're gonna figure it out.
Okay. All right.
But it's such a pleasure to have you.
Absolutely.
We're gonna get together and go see Grace Gibson though. We're gonna go see her
I
daughter.
would love
Yes,
to
we'll
do that,
plan.
And that'll be a
date.
good time. I'm gonna
Yes.
sip. We're gonna sip some sake. I'm not gonna act up this time.
You're gonna be on sake.
And as soon as I find out
Unless-
his
You
release
didn't
date,
She
Listen.
She enjoyed the time with you.
Okay, good. I'm glad.
we will definitely
Yes.
keep you
Look,
keyed in.
some
on
friends
the
dealt with
Magic
it
City
after.
situation.
Yeah.
Because
We got-
I gotta have you as my special guest at the premiere.
Yes, that would be so
I would
dope.
love to be
Please.
there.
Yes.
Get her a lap dance.
Okay.
For old time's sake.
Girl, so many lap dances. I was like, what are y'all doing?
I gotta try this at home.
But
You wanna throw the money?
Hip Hop Nation was there. And they were like, yeah, yo, good. You're the, but see, I don't trust it because they were like, look it. It was like,
No, we're gonna have a time. I
Yes.
already know because that's how we get down.
oh, ladies,
Absolutely.
well, I've enjoyed it. Such interesting women. And I think we had a very serviceable conversation
I think
Yes.
so too.
for our listeners.
I feel
and
like
all
I want
that.
to go to Puerto Rico.
I learned a
Right.
lot.
I
it's
definitely wanna do that.
beautiful. So much of what we are is what we
Comprehensive listening.
put in us. You know, and
Oh, I
so-
know. No, but
I mean, food. You know what we eat.
Oh, okay,
what we
okay.
eat, what we
Health is
consume.
wealth,
You know what
food
I
is
mean?
medicine.
And sometimes we just have to give our systems a break.
Yeah.
Very true.
From
that's
all
right.
of
From
it.
breaking
Real.
down all of that food
Yes.
and all processed food and all of that. So
All of
you're
the
right
mess.
about that.
Yes. As I
So, but I'll tell you
sophisticated.
more about it offline. Well, I know, but I'm not stopped that. But I found the thing that works.
Right.
Sake.
A little sake.
Yes.
All right. All right. Well, you guys, it's lip service. Amazing day. I appreciate it. We appreciate you. We love you. We honor you. We cherish
Please,
you.
yes.
And we are so
This
glad
was amazing.
to have you in our presence.
Thank you.
Mm.